mentioned here as well. The topic which is chosen is very important, but at the same time what I am expecting is it should be a interactive session and not one side. I am expecting number of questions and queries and comments relating to topics so that I can answer and defend them as the result of which that will help us in orientation and understanding of what is there relating to topic. So far as my plan of lecture is concerned, first of all I will explain in brief what research means. Second is very important for me and all of you as well, how to select a research problem or topic. And third is also very important, how to prepare a research proposal. We call it as a synopsis. What is the structure of that and how it is to be prepared, and what can be ingredient parts of the research proposal. We call it as a synopsis. So I will not spend much time on what research is and what are the types of research, because all of you are working and you have gone through the concept of research. You might be reading research methodology books as well. So just for your information, here it is presented. What is the meaning of?
Sir, you have to press here. Sir.
No, this is
that connected PC only, sir.
Here.
Yeah.
No, that pointer is not showing. No?
Connected here only.
That is what, because it can be shown.
No, sir.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ PC ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಪ್ಪತ್ತು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್
Pointer works.
Here I have to show.
Yes, sir. Pointer it works here, but
It is not. So I have to show here.
The mouse you can show.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Mouse it is not mentioned. Yes. Okay. So what I have tried to explain what the concept of research is, how it is understand the concept of research that I have tried to explain, beginning with the ordinary meaning of the term research and how that we can discuss with the help of the definition. It has been given by the Dictionary of English and Redmond and Moore and Woody as well. And that is sufficient and adequate so far as understanding the concept of research is there. So when we look at the concept of research, it is of also crucial importance to know what are the types of research. Because when you enter into the research, you should know what type of research you are engaged in or what type of research you want to carry out. And it is therefore, these are the different types of research, those are there and those enable us in which category I am working so far as my research is concerned. Then again it is continued further. One more classification of the research is also there, like descriptive research, applied, fundamental, quantitative, qualitative, then conceptual, empirical and other one-time and longitudinal field setting, clinical, diagnostic, etc. etc. These are some of the types of, then exploratory, formalized, etc. These are some of the types, conclusion-oriented, historical, decision-oriented, etc. etc. I want to know because many of us have engaged in research and they should know why you are carrying out or why you are participating in research. These are the points. With the help of that you can justify what is your intention and what are your purposes so far as participating in research is concerned. And that gives us what is the significance, relevance and importance of participating in research. Is there a number of points, might be some missed out, but some of the points that I am trying to place before you, to justify what you are involving in research, what is your intention or what is your purpose so far as participating in research is concerned. This is very important, but before that I want to ask a question. How many have selected their research topics? How many have selected their research? Excluding my students, I know because I am part and parcel of them. So I am excluding them, I know very well what are their topics and how they have chosen. Excluding them, excluding my students, who have selected their topics and they have prepared synopsis and their topics are finalized. Anybody? You are there. You are there, very good. Others, you are also there. What is your topic?
Pros and cons of demand for separate state, focus on urban.
How you selected that topic? What was the modus operandi of use so as to finalize that topic? How you selected? How you finalize that topic?
Because of
how find, not why. I am not talking about why. How you finalize? What was the procedure you adopted?
so, sir, I am doing some review of literature.
Okay, fine.
Then I am selecting through this
Okay.
and some newspapers.
Okay. And
I am
others?
reading some newspapers.
Okay. Okay.
Generalized some topics. Some problems are created.
Very good.
That's
Was your topic a problem?
Pros and cons of
Your topic is a problem or no?
Yes, sir. Sure. Problem.
Definitely, it's a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about you? How you selected your topic?
So I have the literature
Okay.
first, and I have read some reports. But according to reports, there should be 6% of expenditure on education.
Okay,
But
okay.
in India, it is not reaching. So
Okay.
I thought, why it is
Okay.
not.
Anybody last benchers or anybody is there who have chosen their topic and it is finalized as well? This side, anybody is there? Okay. Yes, very good. What he spoke and she also really in the direct direction that I am going to present before you. Actually, there are some criteria which are necessary to be taken into account while selecting a problem. Number one, what problem or topic you are choosing should be a problem. Should be a problem. It can be a success story as well. It is not always negative, positivity can be there. So whatever topic you choose is a problem. Sometimes it can be a success story. For example, if you are assessing performance of any sugar factory, maybe cooperative or private, it can be a problem. Number of problems can be there. Revenue can be there, price can be there, profitability can be there, problem of wages, salaries can be there. So this is on the one hand. But on the other, there can be a success story. There can be one cooperative sugar factory which is a success story. It is in profit. Workers and laborers are very much happy. They are getting salaries and leave and everything, social security benefit. That's a success story. So while selecting a problem, research topic a problem, that should be a problem, but it can be a success story. Understanding? Understanding? It can be a success story. It is not always our perspective looking at that topic is negative. It can be a positive as well. So there are some criteria which can be taken into account. So as to finalize that topic, number one, what are your personal interests? This is a heterogeneous group of research scholars. Some are from economics, some might be from sociology, maybe from political science, maybe from commerce as well. So what is your area of research interest? I will give some examples of economics. In economics, number of branches are there. Agricultural economics is there, industrial economics is there, public economics is there, international economics is there, environmental economics is there, resource economics is there. In which area are you interested? If you are interested in agricultural economics, go for selecting a problem that is in agricultural economics. If I am interested in international economics, I should try to select a topic or problem which is there in the international economics. Simple idea, take into account your interest. And which is the area of research specialization, maybe public economics, finances of government, maybe local finance, maybe development economics can be there. So, what interest is there? What is your interest? The topic of research should be interested or within that research specialization, number one. What is your attitude? What is your attitude? You are very much acquainted with the knowledge and whatever theory that is there in that area of research specialization, you should be equipped with. Suppose you are working in development, number of theories are there, theories of development, theories of growth. So you are well acquainted with, so that you can give theoretical background to the topic. So you should have an attitude of theories, concepts, rules, laws and acts that can be there. So you are very well acquainted with. You are very much equipped with, that is required, number two. Number three is, there are some types of research already I have shown. In addition to that, those topics, those types are also classified in this way also. Acquisition and interpretation of new knowledge, that can be type of research. Reorganization, revaluation of old knowledge, development, testing, refinement, etc., etc. General new case studies, manuals, critical, formal, analysis, some classification of the research is there. In which area you are interested, so far as type of research is concerned, that you have to select, that you have to choose. And the topic or the research problem should be, which is suitable, which can be appropriate in that particular category, you have to take care of. That is number three. Third is your possibility of collecting information or sources. When we select a topic, you have to check what is the possibility of collecting necessary data. When I am talking about necessary data, concentrate on secondary data, because collecting primary data is not very difficult. We can prepare a questionnaire, we can prepare a schedule, we can conduct interviews, we can carry out group discussion, etc., etc. So generating primary data is not very difficult. Collecting secondary data is very difficult because it is not in our hands. It depends upon others who is going to publish or who is going to produce that. And it is there for check what data is available and what are the sources of data available. Suppose you are working in public economics, finances of government of India, finances of state government, finances of local government. Check what data is available relating to overall budgetary position, the revenue, composition of revenue, expenditure, composition of expenditure, deficit measures. Check whether it is available, whether it is updated, available or not. Then you can go for selecting that topic. You are selecting and no data is available, especially I am talking about secondary data. As I have mentioned that generating primary data is not difficult. When our respondents are fixed, when our sample is fixed, it's very easier. Not easier in the sense that it is available, it can be generated. But all of us know it is a cumbersome exercise to generate primary data as well, because carrying out the survey is difficult. All of us know it requires time and money as well. It is costly and time consuming is there. So check what type of secondary data is available, how much it is available, and more importantly, what are the sources of data. And the sources of data are reliable. Are they reliable? Are they authentic? That is necessary to be checked. And if it is yes, answer is yes. When you got a feedback that everything is okay, collecting secondary data, the nature of data, decomposition, composition, the data is available, and it is open source data. Nowadays, open source data is very difficult to get. Nowadays, everything is chargeable. It requires to pay. It requires to pay fees. So you have to check that. When you are not getting any fellowship or any scholarship, it is rather difficult to subscribe that data. Try to check open access data is available or not. It is available from the Central Bank, Reserve Bank of India. It is available from the Government of India, also from the state governments as well. It is available from local governments also, municipal corporation, municipal council like that. But you have to check availability of data and the sources of data, are they reliable? Are they authentic? And if the answer is yes, then you can go for selecting that problem. Then you can go for selecting that topic. Then next is your context. This is especially relating to primary data. You should have a communication, contacts with the families and with the people. Then only you can administer questionnaire. Then only you can conduct interviews and hold group discussions. And these are the sources of generating primary data. It is therefore how much contacts you are having, whether it is possible to communicate or not, whether communication is rather simple, easier, or it is difficult. Check that, and if it is possible, then you can go for selecting or finalizing that topic or going for that topic that is there. Next is funds. All of us know carrying out research is expensive. It is expensive for collecting data. It is expensive for carrying out field survey. It is expensive for preparing data analysis and processing as well, and write-up as well. So it is expensive. So take whether it is possible funding from any agency, whether it is possible funding from university, whether it is possible funding from the institution like the UGC or ICSR, check that also. Because suppose somebody has decided I will not spend a single paisa and I will complete the research, it is not possible. From the very beginning it requires to incur some expenditure. So if any sponsoring agency is there, industries also nowadays sponsor, corporate houses, bodies also nowadays sponsor. So check what are the sources of extracting funding or funds for research. If it is available, it is very good, or you have to make a provision. If it is yes, then you can go for research. You can go for selecting a topic. You can go for selecting a problem. And already I have discussed sponsors. Any sponsor research is there. Nowadays industries are giving, Kirloskar is giving, Tata is giving, Birla is giving, Adani is also giving. So whether that sponsorship for the research can be extracted, it can be harvested, then we can go for selecting that topic that is there. Now this is what the criteria how to take into account. And within that criteria, whatever questions you suffer from, answers are possible to get, then you can proceed further. Understanding? All of understanding? Is it clear? You can ask a question in between also. It is not necessary I have to finish my lecture, no need of demo. You can ask any time, any question relating to topic. Then when it is clear that answer, that signals are green, that criteria is fulfilled, criteria can be fulfilled and it is ready for proceeding further, then we have to follow certain steps. while selecting a topic, while selecting a research problem. Number one, what are the attributes? Attributes means qualities. Attributes means peculiarities. Attributes means selling features. What are the attributes of that particular research topic? Suppose I am working on higher education in India. What are attributes? Gross enrollment ratio. What are attributes? Availability of infrastructure. What are attributes? Library facility. What are attributes? Infrastructure. What are attributes? Teachers. These are the attributes or qualities of that particular problem. So how many attributes or dimensions you can explore? You can highlight. That we have to check. Suppose I am working on education and there are no much dimensions or attributes, I should forget that topic. Because in-depth analysis, multi-dimension analysis is not possible. So what are the qualities, peculiarities and features of that particular problem? We call it as a systematic or in scientific words, attributes. So you have to check what are the attributes means dimensions. Attributes means aspects. And there are number of aspects. Dropout ratio can be there, success rate can be there, progression of the students can be there, teacher-pupil ratio is there, number of gross enrollment ratio is there, rural-urban disparities are there, male-female inequality, number are there, socio-economic disparities are there. So what are the attributes and peculiarities of that topic? You have to check. Then you can go for finalizing or going for further step of that selecting research topic. If aspects or dimensions are very meager, very lesser, very limited, very least, so you don't go for that selecting topic because it becomes troublesome. That topic should be multi-dimensional. Multi-dimensional in the sense that number of qualities and number of dimension aspects are necessary. If number of dimensions and aspects and qualities are there, then you can go for finalizing that topic or you can proceed further. Next is your interest. Already I have made area of research interest. Whether it is in agricultural economics, international economics, public economics, ecological resource economics, or maybe in social sciences also, sociology also, urban sociology there, urban environmental sociology there, rural sociology there. Whether those are in my research area of interest, check that, and if it is there, you can go further. Skills are required for the collection of the data, both secondary, primary. Skills are required for the processing of the data, analysis of the data, and interpretation as well. And you are very much happy that I have a skill of collecting the data. I have a skill of collecting the primary data. I have a skill of data feeding and data processing and analysis. Then you can go for selecting the topic. You can proceed further. Then completion in time. This is very important. Now at least 3 years you cannot submit your thesis. Previously the case was not there. Previously within 2 years or after 2 years you can submit thesis, but now it is minimum 3 years. Select the topic, at least in 3 years you will complete that research. If it is not possible, if the scope of the topic is very larger and greater, it will not be possible. So decide that topic and scope of the research that will complete within at least 3 years. It should not cross 3 years. Within 3 years, if it is completed, it is well and good. You can wait for it or you can carry out other activities relating to research. That is not the case. But at least in 3 years, you should complete the research. Check whether it is possible or not. Then you can go for finalizing or selecting that topic. Then next is that should be a current topic. Suppose now we are facing problem of higher education and I am going for primary education. We are facing challenges in higher education and I am going for elementary education. That will not serve the purpose. To serve the purpose of research, that should be a current topic. Higher education is there, research education is there, quality of research is there. So topic should be current. It should be a current problem. Then sufficient finance. Finance is very much necessary. Maybe you can save, no doubt. You can, being students of economics, you can bring about economy. But zero money, you cannot apply the principle of the economy. No? So you should have a funding or financial resources. Then access to data, especially secondary data. Even in the case of primary data also, you should be confident in getting the information by administering a questionnaire and schedule. It should be possible to conduct discussions and group discussion and interview as well. So check possibility of that. Then only you can go further or proceed further. Then generating ideas, when you want to work on a particular topic, think over that. In which perspectives you can look at, what can be dimensions you can explore on that topic, how you can extract different aspects of that topic, you think over that. And your ideas that will enable you, yes, there is plenty of scope, there is a sufficient scope, there is an adequate scope to work for PhD on that topic, then it is yes, you can go further, proceed further, otherwise no. Next is necessary standards. Quality should be there. Nowadays quality is playing a very important role. So whether qualitative research is possible to carry out or not, what research I carry out is qualitative or not, it will be qualitative or not. So qualitative norms, while introducing the rather Siddhu Bharwatan, Google Scholar citations are there, H index is there, I10 index is there, ResearchGate Scholar, that ResearchGate score is there, Scopus index journals are there. In which journal, what your paper or what your research I carry out is suitable or fit, that you have to check. Nowadays quality is of crucial importance. If quality is there, then it is accepted and it is being appreciated as well. So check, I am able to carry out the research which is qualitative. Whatever norms and standards of quality of the research are there, those can be complied, those can be fulfilled, those can be satisfied, then only proceed further, then only go ahead. Supplementary to that, the research questions, I will, while talking about research proposal, I will talk a little bit on research question. Your topic should generate number of questions, and they are research questions. Because in research, research is nothing but it is answering why, how, what, and causal relations. So number of questions you should generate, you should create. And you should be able in answering and analyzing the answers of those questions. And yes, data support is required. Database is required. Results of data analysis are required. So check whether it is possible to generate and create some research questions. And that will cover the scope of the research. And whatever necessary data that is available and required, that will comply the answering of the questions that we have generated, we have created, that also we have to check. And lastly, when this exercise is carried out, you are adequate and sufficient that you can prepare now a research proposal. Beginning with, already I have discussed what is meant by research and the criteria to be taken into account and the types of research. When you go through on these stages and steps, in the last stage, you have to think, you have to decide whether it is possible for me to prepare a research proposal. If it is yes, signal is green, go ahead. If signal is green, go ahead. Otherwise, you have to think over. Again, you have to start the process from A to Z, A, B, C. So that is what the steps, those are required to be fulfilled, to be covered, to be gone through, so far as selecting a research topic that is there. Beside this, one exercise you can carry out, which is known as a brainstorming session. Suppose these are the students, this is a group of brainstorming. And the topic which I am choosing, or I have chosen, it can be thrown in this hall. And I have to collect what is that problem is, what that problem is. And I can ask questions relating to that topic. And I collect your feedback, I collect your actions and your interpretations and your responses and views and thoughts. And when all are recorded, I have registered and recorded, I will get an idea, yes, this topic is worthy to go for a research. So, whatever topic you are choosing or you are analyzing, it should be thrown in this hall, among your friends, among your teachers, among your colleagues and whatever it may be. And you have to collect their suggestions, you have to ask your questions, you have to collect their reviews, you have to analyze their suggestions, and if they are positive, yes, you can go for that. It is worthy, it is necessary, it can be helpful, it is well enough, it is sufficient enough to prepare a proposal and proceed further. So far as carrying out research is concerned, then you can proceed further, you can go ahead, that is there. To summarize, how to select a research topic. To summarize how to select a research topic, first of all, formulate and clarify the topic, what that topic is. assessing impact of higher education in India, examining trends in growth and development of higher education in India, checking or analyzing efficacy of higher education in India. Number of topics can be there. If we can formulate, it is possible for us to formulate and clarify that topic. That is one. Yes, we can proceed further. Second, meet requirements of examining body. Examining body, that is university. Examining body, that is university. DRC is there, Departmental Research Committee is there. Research Advisory Committee is there. Again, Research Recognition Committee is there. Other experts are there. Will they sufficient and will they happy in the proposal that we have prepared? It is possible that they will be compliant. They will be happy on the what proposal we have prepared. It will fulfill norms and conditions and it will comply. It will comply the requirements. Then we can go for that. So first of all, at department level, Departmental Research Committee, a little bit change has taken place nowadays. Departmental Research Committee is there, Research Recognition, Research Advisory Committee is there. At university level, Research that RR Recognition Committee is there, and others are also there. If they can comply, they will be happy. They will sanction, they will approve. You have to check. Then you can finalize that topic. Then you can go for that topic. Then techniques to generate research ideas. You can talk to others, you can talk to your friends, you can take their feedbacks, you can take their ideas, and if they are providing, if they are sufficient and adequate in generating ideas and thoughts relating to a topic, then again it is helpful for strengthening that topic of research and consequently the proposal that is there. Then you should generate number of questions. Number of questions in the sense, not so large number of questions you have to ask. A few questions. 5-6 questions, because more the question, more the scope of study. More the scope of study, more the expensive, more the time consuming as well, and within the limit of 3 years will not be possible. So restrict your questions up to 5 to 6. It should not cross the number, because we like to ask number of questions, no? But answering questions is required in carrying out the research. So try to restrict the number of questions up to 5 to 6. Should not cross like that of objectives. Because in objectives also I will speak later on. So try to restrict question 5 to 6, and it can be answered by collecting the data and analyzing and processing of the data. So that will serve the purpose of our selecting, finalizing the topic and also preparing the research proposal, what we call it as a research synopsis. Then literature, you have to check what literature is available. And whether it is a research literature, whether it is a theoretical literature, whether it is a conceptual literature, you have to check. And for preparing the research proposal, research literature is required, because you have to carry out a review of research literature to find out the gap and research lapses and gaps, those are there. So what research literature are available? In addition to that, to give theoretical background, theory literature is also required. Conceptual explaining literature is also required. So check whether it is available or not. And this will give us what we call it as a research topic. This will give us what we call it as a research problem. This is the exercise which is required to be carried out to finalize your research topic, to finalize and select the research problem or topic that is there. So before moving towards the research proposal, if anybody, any explanation is required, any question is there, any comment is there, it is most welcome, so that some interaction should take place. Any question from participant side on how to select a research topic, how to finalize, what are the stages and pages we have to go through. And anybody asks us anything, you can also ask, no problem. You should not be excluded. So any question, any comment, any query that is there till this moment what I spoke on selecting the research topic or problem, it is most welcome. I will like to answer and give explanation and the defense of it as well. So anybody wants to ask? Anybody wants to ask anything? Anybody has any query, any question, any clarification is required? Nothing. Nobody is asking. You are understanding that two possibilities are there. One is 100% understanding, another is 0% understanding. I am expecting in between that, When you are in between, you are expected to ask questions and comments and queries as well. So anybody any question, any clarifications required while selecting the research problem or topic? If it is not there, shall I proceed further?
Yes.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. This is very important. This is very important, preparing the research proposal. Actually, while preparing a synopsis, you have to prepare in this manner, in these parts, in these segments, in these sections. Number one is, it should be introduction. First of all, title is there, title is required. So first title of topic, title of your problem. Then introduction. Second, here is review of research studies. Review of research studies. Review of research literature. Second is statement of research problem. That should incorporate research questions as well. That should include research questions as well. Then research methodology. Research methodology. Objectives. Hypothesis. Chapter scheme. Importance, significance or relevance of the study or topic. Limitations of the study. Further area of research. Last, references or bibliography. References or bibliography. Is there any difference between references and bibliography?
Yes, sir.
Is there a difference?
Yes.
What it is?
Sir, in reference, we will take some of the part of that literature, sir.
Okay.
In bibliography, we will not take, we will refer that.
You want to say whatever is cited, that is references, and you have gone through
We
that.
will take some content from that.
Yes, yes, that is citation, no? That is citation.
References we include only citation, bibliography included as citation and non-citation.
Are you agree with him?
Yes.
Are you agree with him? Huh? Is it correct? Is it correct what he is saying? Whatever is cited, that is references. Whatever you gone through entirely, that is bibliography. Are you agree with him?
Yes.
He is correct. So I am also agree with him. You are absolutely right. So this is what the structure of, I would say, the division of the research proposal. We call it as a synopsis. We call it as a research proposal. Number one is introduction. What is expected in introduction? Is there any rule? Is there any law? Is there any tradition to write an introduction? No, not at all. Here, introduction is to introduce the topic. Introduction is to introduce the topic, but at the same time, in introduction, you have to give citations of some other researchers and research relating to your topic. That justifies, that strengthens your topic. So, introduction, no rule, no tradition, no any regulation, but the intention is you should be able in introducing your topic, but it should be accompanied by some citations and references. At the same time, there should be some data support as well. Some data is required. Otherwise, it will be only essay. We don't want essay. Essay doesn't serve the purpose. So, some data, some citations of reference research of others. That is there. So, this is introduction. All of you understanding? So, introduction, no rule, no regulation, no act, no law, nothing is there. Just intention is to introduce the topic. It should be coupled by research citations of other researchers, and at the same time it should be supported by data, also relevant data, so that that topic will be justified. So that topic will be very much clearer. Second is review of research studies or literature. Second is review of research studies or literature. So what is the difference? What is the difference between literature and research literature? Is there any difference? Is there any distinction between literature and research literature, or both are the same?
Both are same.
Both are the same?
No such thing.
Difference is there? What difference is there?
Sir, research study papers are based on the research what they have.
Okay.
Literature may contain novel like that, sir.
Okay.
Story.
Okay. In economics, novel cannot be there, short story also cannot be there. In economics, it is not there, no?
Has.
So how we can apply it in economics or social sciences, more importantly? Because in social sciences, no novel, no short story, no poem as well. So how we are applying this? No, cannot be applied, no? In economics, no story. What is your subject?
Public finance, sir.
Public finance, that is economics, no?
हाँ, sir.
No, in economics, no story in public finance as well. Or any poem is there? No. So what distinction is there between literature and research literature?
Literature term is broad. Research studies the literature form.
Is there any connection between research literature and literature? Any relation is there? What it is?
So the relation is there, sir.
What it is? What it is?
Because of some stories show some ideas regarding our topics or areas, like ancient period of middle period.
Okay. That is history, no?
Sir, but it is influenced our topics.
That is also anthropology, sociology.
So political science
Okay.
as well as and
That is historical part. It can be covered in.
yes, of course, sir. But it is influence our present policies, formulating some all those steps of institutional.
My simple question is, literature and research literature are the same? If those are not same, what distinction is there? Yes, madam?
Sir, in literature, what we talk about is generally about the major and general theory regarding the topic or related with the topic. When we come to the review of literature, we become
I am not proceeded further to review of literature. Only my question is there a difference between research literature and literature?
There is difference.
It is there. What difference it is?
Sir, in literature we talk generally, what I said, we talk about general things
General means what?
related to topic only, whichever being.
Very proper term, what it can be?
It's in
General means what?
It is
Broad as
actually,
well.
sir, like behavior of.
It can be a theory,
Yes, sir.
it can be a law, it can be concept.
Yes.
That is expected, no?
And
That is expected, answer is expected that. Yes?
Sir, like some notes are behavior of society,
Okay.
behavior of.
Behavior of society can be reflected in a law or any act like that.
Yes.
So, what she is saying is absolutely right. That theory, law, concept, rule, that is there. What difference is there? Difference is research literature is a literature relating to research only. What she is saying is absolutely right. And literature is an entire literature that also comprises research literature. Understanding? That also includes research literature. To be very simple, research literature is a narrow, entire literature is broader and comprehensive. And what relation is there? Research literature is part of entire literature. Understanding? It is that connection is there. What your poems and writings and plays are not there. Even you also, that can be covered in history. That is there. Then why research review to be carried out? What is the intention? What is it necessary to carry out a review of research studies or literature?
Finding the research.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Already it is written there. I should actually hide that first. Because already clearly mentioned. So it will be very simple to get answer. Intention is to find out the research gap. Intention is to find out how to identify research gap. Suppose I am working on higher education and whatever literature I have gone through, that is relating to gross enrollment ratio only. And I didn't find any research on expenditure on education. So that is a gap. Understanding? That is a gap. Nobody has worked on expenditure on education. So that is a gap, and that gap is our study area. Understanding? So to identify what gap is there, what miss out are there, what missings are there, lapses has a negative meaning, so I should not use that. That is the intention, that is the importance and significance so far as carrying out a review of research literature is concerned. The second is what actually research literature means. What is incorporated in research literature? In research literature, there can be research papers, there can be research articles, there can be MPhil dissertations, there can be PhD theses, there can be research projects. The sum totality of that is known as a research literature. Understanding? Understanding? Research literature means research papers or articles, MPhil dissertations, PhD theses, and research projects. Sum totality of that is known as a research literature. committed one mistake here.
Books.
You can,
Books.
which books, which books?
Textbooks.
No, textbook cannot be a research literature. That can be literature, but not a research literature. Cannot be literature. No? Research literature means this only. I have committed one mistake. I want to. We will correct that mistake.
Journals.
Just a minute. I used both terms, dissertation as well as PhD thesis. Are they correct? Are they correct? I have used dissertation as well as PhD thesis. Is it correct?
Unpublished PhD thesis.
No, I don't want full name. I don't want full name. What I feel is it is a mistake as per my view. I have used both MPhil dissertations as well as PhD theses. Am I correct? Am I correct? Am I correct? Sir, try to be confident. Try to be confident. Yes or no? Am I correct? I am saying I have committed a mistake. I am not mistaken. Are you sure?
Yes, my view.
Then what is the difference between dissertation and thesis? What is the difference? Is there a difference between dissertation and thesis?
It's short-term research, while PhD thesis is a long-term programmed research.
Okay.
This as per
Okay. Is there a difference between thesis and dissertation?
Dissertations have some limitations in the research process, but PhDs, all those steps are going scientific.
Yes,
and
you are
systematic.
absolutely correct. I want to check that only. I know very well dissertation and thesis are different. So, where the scope of the research is concerned, whether it is legal, it is lower, it is smaller, whatever document that we get is a dissertation. And when scope is higher, it is more, what research document that we get is known as a thesis. So, these are the two different terms. And therefore, when you go for MPhil dissertation, MPhil degree, you have to prepare MPhil dissertation. And when you go for PhD, it is a thesis. So you should be very much clear. That is my answer. I am not mistaken here. I am absolutely correct. But I want to check whether you are correct or not. Then this is what the sources of research literature are there. So from that we can collect literature, and we have to carry out a review. We have to carry out a review of research literature. Then what to review? What to review? That is nature of review of research literature. What actually to be reviewed? What to be gone through, which is known as a review of research literature. Number one, background of the study. Background of the study means that study is carried out on the background of independence. That study is carried out on the background of the planning. That study is carried out on the background of national new education, new economic reforms. That is the background of the study. That study is carried out on the background of independence India, post-independence India, planned India, post-planned India, new economic policy India, post-economic policy India. That is background of the study. Understanding? So, yes.
Why you do not mention in your books research literature in research literature?
Book is not a research. It is text. No? It can help you in understanding laws and rules and acts. Those are their concepts, but that is not a research. That is helpful for us in preparing a theoretical background. Here only review of research studies is required, and book is not a research study. Suppose book based on your PhD thesis is there, book based on the collection of the research articles is there, that can be a research literature. But that book is textbook, that book is a reference book, it is comprising of theories, laws and acts and concepts, it is not a research literature. Research literature is book which is a collection of research articles. Research book which is a converted thesis into the book. But if it is a reference book, no research is there. Laws are there, theories are there, concepts are there. It is theoretical literature. It is theoretical literature and not research literature. Madam, understanding? So that difference is there. Are you happy? Or more explanation is required? Okay, thank you. Then next is methods of research. I will explain in detail when I will go for research methodology. Methods of research, methods of data collection, methods of data processing, methods of data analysis, methods of sampling. That is methods. Then methodology, I will explain a little bit more in research methodology. It is the procedure of carrying out a research. It is the process which I have used to complete the research, to carry out the research. It is research methodology. Then aspects or dimensions covered. Suppose higher education, gross enrollment ratio, dropout ratio, teacher-pupil ratio, then infrastructure, rural-urban disparities. These are the aspects or dimensions. And if those are covered, what is missed out, what is remained, that you have to check, that you have to identify, that you have to recognize. Then only you can proceed further. Then statistical techniques for data analysis, measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, measures of association. What techniques you have used? You have used standard deviation, you have not used coefficient of variation. So what is used by other studies? So far as processing and especially analysis of the data is concerned, that is application of quantitative techniques or statistical tools to analyze the data, that to be identified, that to be checked. Then major conclusions, a few conclusions from that study, 1, 2, 3, which are very important, that to be incorporated, and very important suggestions, 1, 2 like that. This is what a review of research studies is there. Understanding? Review of research studies should be background of the study, methods of research, methodology adopted, aspects or dimensions covered, period of study, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years like that. Then statistical techniques, that is measures of central tendency, measures of association, then measures of dispersion, what is used, what is applied, and major conclusions, 1, 2, 3 like that, and important suggestions, 1, 2, 3 like that. This is what the review of research literature means. So your review of research literature should comprise of all these ingredients. Understanding? This should be incorporated. This should be there in your review of research studies. Understanding? Background, methods, methodology, aspects or dimensions, periods, statistical technique, conclusions, suggestions. Then next is to identify further area of research. Suppose relating to higher education development in India, when I gone through the literature, I found gross enrollment ratio is covered, teacher-pupil ratio is covered, then infrastructure of the institutions is covered, but expenditure is not covered. It can be further area of research. Rural-urban disparities are not covered. It can be further area of research. Suppose male-female disparities are not covered. It can be further missing or aspects or further area of research, and that is your focus area. You have to focus in the research on those which are missed out. You can take reference on others, no problem, but your focus should be on the missing aspects and issues. That is why your research, review of research literature is required while preparing the research proposal. Now the question that arises, how much studies to be reviewed while preparing the research proposal or research topic? How many to be reviewed or covered? While preparing the research proposal, 100, 500, 600, how much to be reviewed? While preparing the research proposal, how many? 100 is sufficient?
It's not fixed number.
There is such a hard and
60 to 80.
Yes?
60 to 80.
No, I am talking about research proposal, not thesis yet.
30
Huh?
to 50.
50? 15, 15,
Did you get the
15.
idea what we are?
No, actually, but there can be a unclear norm or vague norm can be there. No? Something we should follow. So how many studies to be reviewed while preparing the research proposal?
20 to 30.
Okay, 20. Any different answer is there?
Depend on topic.
No, topic that doesn't matter because the literature is available. It's possible to extract as well.
15 to 20.
15, 20. Any different answer? 10 to 15 is sufficient. 10 is okay, but you want more rigorous. 15 okay sufficient. Not 20 is not required because it is a research proposal. No, not thesis like that. Dissertation also not there. For MPhil, we review at least 30, 35 only. So 10, 15 is sufficient. 10 is sufficient, but more rigorousness can be brought about by reviewing 15. Understanding? This is what a review of research studies or review of research literature, which is the second part of our research proposal, which is the second section of our synopsis or research proposal. Anybody has any difficulty, any comment, any question? Whatever I told is incorrect, you are not agree with me. Anybody is there? You should be disagree with me as well, no? Because I am a human being, so I can commit a mistake as well. Nobody is there, everybody is with me?
Yes.
So my pleasure it is. Then next is a statement of the research problem. Statement of the research problem. Statement of the research problem is actually our topic. This one. Actually, this that is a problem. That problem that I want to analyze. That problem I want to analyze. That is a research topic. And statement relating to research problem means what exactly, in broader sense of meaning, that problem is. Understanding? In statement of problem, what actually, in broader perspective, in broader approach, what actually that problem is, that is a statement of problem. There can be number of sub-problems, number of minor problems, there can be number of little bit problems relating to that you have to enlist, that you have to identify, and that you have to incorporate. You have to finalize and fix what is your branch of research area, whether it is agriculture economics, whether it is international economics, whether it is public economics, whether it is environmental economics, whether it is development economics, that you have to mention that. And what are problems and sub-problems, you have identified, some data support is required. Suppose I am working on higher education in India. So what is problem? Gross enrollment ratio in India is very meager or smaller or lesser. That is one of the problems. No? It should be supported by data. And data is present gross enrollment ratio in higher education in India is only 26%. And across the countries, especially developed countries, it is more than 75%. It is not a problem. So that I have to incorporate. Some data support is required. Problem, sub-problem, already I have mentioned that it can be a success story as well. It can be a success story as well. But related to that success story also, some data support is required. Suppose some factory is working very properly, you can mention profitability of that. You can mention number of employees. You can mention social security services provided, and some data support is required. Then justification of the research topic, why you are choosing that topic. Somebody say I am staying in Dharwad, so my topic is relating to Dharwad only. Somebody is saying I am staying in Belgaum, now it is Belgavi, so I am taking topic relating to Belgaum only. That is not justified. The research methodology doesn't permit it. The research methodology doesn't permit it. The research methodology tells us how much you are neutral, how much you are unbiased, how much you are not partial, you are impartial. That requires to be decided so far as the area of that research and the statement of problem relating to the topic of research is concerned. Then research questions. Your statement of problem should have research question. Previously those were not there. When you see previous synopsis, previous research proposals, no research questions were there. But nowadays, it requires to incorporate research questions. So, in the statement of problem, what is your branch of that study area? What is the area of specialization? What are the problems and sub-problems where success stories can be there? It is supported by the adequate data and justification of the topic. Justification that is unbiased. Justification that is neutrally. In addition to that, it should incorporate research questions. It should incorporate research questions. The number of research questions should be 5 to 6, like that of objectives. More the questions, more the scope. More the scope, more the study, time is required, more the expenditure is required, and within stipulated time, rather it is difficult to realize and achieve. So, like that of objective, I will speak later on. Number of questions should be 5 to 6. Moderate in size. So far as the scope of the study is concerned, this is what the statement of the research problem is there. So anybody wants to ask any question relating to statement of the research problem? All of you are happy or unhappy? It seems either happy or unhappy. In between is not there. It is just extremes, no? Okay, you have to decide that. Then next is research questions. Already I have covered research questions, but I will give some examples how to ask questions. Suppose I am working on higher education development in India. My topic of research is assessing higher education development in India. So how I can ask questions? I can ask questions like this. Is government playing a vital role in higher education development in India? Number one. Number two is higher education development in India is up to the mark. Number three, are there disparities in higher education development across the rural and urban areas and male-female as well? Such questions I have to ask. Understanding? So question should be, is government playing a crucial role, important role in higher education development in India? Number one. Is gross enrollment ratio in higher education is increasing rapidly and significantly in India? There is no any disparity between rural and urban and male-female or across the gender and rural and urban area. So far as higher education development in India, such questions are necessary to be asked, and that can be up to 5 to 6. Number should be up to 5 to 6, no more than that. Because more the question, more the scope, it is very difficult to complete that research within the stipulated time period which is given or to be completed. Then lot of is there relating to research questions, but I will not do that. Next is research methodology. My question is research methodology and research methods are the same and synonymous?
No, sir.
No? Research methods and methodology are the same?
No.
No? What difference is there?
Methodology is the process and methods are the tools which we use.
Very good. So methods are collecting data, analysis of the data methods, collecting literature, what are the sources of collecting data, these are the methods. And methodology is process of carrying, already it is written it seems, so it is easier to answer. Huh?
I didn't.
You didn't say, no, okay. You are very honest. So that is what expected there. In types of research, descriptive analytical can be there. And in methodology, how you are going to carry out the research. What procedure you are adopting. What process you are adopting to carry out the research, that is a research methodology. And research methods, how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to sample the data, how you are going to analyze the data, these are the methods of research. In addition to that, some methods are also there. Historical method like that is also there. Then in this research methodology, you have to mention period of study. In research methodology, you have to mention period of study. Period of study can be 5 years. It should be minimum 5 years. It should not be 1 year. So where a period of study is concerned, it should be minimum 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, taking into account scope of the study. But it should be minimum 5 years. Your study is only relating to 1 year, current year, that should not happen. That should not happen. But one more important thing is, you have to update your study period. What happens, you mention in synopsis or research proposal from 2021 to 2025. And when you submit thesis in 2027, you say, my study period is 20 to 25, so I have not updated. You have to update that. When you submit the thesis up to that period, up to that year, you have to update. So students do not know, so they say, in my research proposal, in my synopsis, if you mention 2020 to 2025, and therefore I have sticked up. No change I have not made, but that is incorrect. You have to update that study period up to the submission of thesis. Understanding? Of the submission of thesis. Then sources of data, you have to mention sources of data. What are the sources of secondary data? What are the sources of primary data? That you have to mention. When it is primary data, always there is a sampling, isn't it? When it is a primary data, always there is sampling. What is your sample design? First of all, sampling method, which it is, whether it is probability or non-probability, whether it is random or non-random. In random and non-random, number of types are there. So, which is basically your sampling method, whether it is one stage, second stage, 3 stage, number of stages are there. So, that you have to mention. And whether you are going to administer a questionnaire so far as collecting of the data is concerned, or you are organizing interviews, you are holding group discussion, what you are adopting for collection of the primary data, that you have to mention in this research proposal or the synopsis. Then you have to mention techniques of data analysis, especially quantitative techniques, statistical techniques, measures of central tendency, dispersion, association, and methods of hypothesis testing as well. Which method you are going to employ to test the hypothesis you have to mention. You can also mention I'm using maps, graphs and figures to represent data results you can mention, and what computer softwares you are making use of to process and analyze the data, like Excel is there, especially nowadays R is being used. So which computer software you are using, processing as well as analysis of the data that you have to mention. This is what the part research methodology comprises of, it includes. All of understanding? All of understanding what are the contents or ingredients of the research methodology. So research methodology should comprise of what type of your research type is there, whether it is descriptive, analytical, pure, or whatever it is there. Then what your research methodology, what are methods of research, what is your period of study, what are the sources of data, what is your sampling method and sampling technique, sample design, what are the techniques of data analysis, use of maps, graphs and figures to represent data and data results, and use of the computer softwares like Excel, SPSS, all others. This is what the research methodology is. Understanding? Now next is objectives of the study. What are the objectives of the study? I will begin with objective should be specific and particular. Your objective should be particular, specific. Those should be related to your problem of study, statement of problem. Objective should be relating to the statement of problem, or in different way it is relating to research questions. Is it right? Your objective should be relating to the statement of problem, what problems you have identified, what sub-problems you have identified, and also those are relating to research questions. Those are relating to questions. Objective should be in one sentence. Objective should be in one sentence. It should not be complex. It should not be a combination of two sentences, because it becomes difficult to analyze by collecting the data. So objective should be in one sentence, in simple one sentence, not a complex or not a combining two sentences, three sentences. It should be in one sentence. Number of objectives should be 5 is okay. You can go for 6, but you should not cross the limit of 7. Because more the objectives, more the scope of study. More the scope of study, more time is required, more expenditure is required. Rather, it is difficult to complete the research within the time period. So 5 is moderate. You can go for 6 in-depth analysis, but you should not cross the number of 7. Because more the objectives, more the scope, and it is very difficult. Research becomes complicated. Research becomes complicated because formulating 7 objectives is very difficult. Objectives should be specific, relating to research problem, relating to research questions. So that precaution is necessary to be taken. Those objectives should be relating to research problems and research questions. Relating to research problems and research questions, and more importantly, interlinking should be there. Interlinking should be there. Suppose my first objective is to assess role of government in higher education development in India. My second objective should be to examine trends in gross enrollment ratio in higher education in India. Number 3 objective is to examine male-female disparities in higher education in India. 4 can be to examine rural-urban inequalities in higher education. So linking is required, sequencing is required. Suppose my first objective is to identify disparities in rural-urban areas, and my objective role of government, that is last. That is not a proper sequence. So there should be a proper sequence. Objective should reflect research problem. Objective should reflect research questions and sub-questions that you identified. So that is what the objective is there. To take a recap of that, your objective should be specific and particular relating to research topic. It should be in one sentence, not a complex sentence. It should not be complicated. Number of objectives should be 5 is moderate. You can go for 6, but you should not cross the limit of 7. then your objective should be relating to research problems and questions and sub-questions only, and there should be interlinking, there should be proper sequencing that is required so far as the research problem is concerned. These are the objectives relating to objectives. Understanding? This is what it is related to objectives. Then next is hypothesis. Number one, is hypothesis is needed in research? Is it required? Is it required? Hypothesis in research? Is it required? How many are of the opinion? Yes, it should be there. You can raise your hands. So few are there, three are there. You are there. Why should be there?
Testing the.
No, testing is different. It is further stage. Why hypothesis is required? What is the relevance and importance of hypothesis in research?
Design of the research.
Yes?
It based design research.
It is based on
Design of research.
design of the research. We should not follow the design of the research. So it should be incorporated. How you justify the need of hypothesis in a research study?
Assumption.
Provided based in which direction?
Yes, she is absolutely right. It defines the scope of study and direction of the study. It is a probable answer of the research question that we are exploring and analyzing, and therefore research hypothesis is required. You are right. It defines the scope. It also gives direction of the research to be carried out, and for that reason, research hypothesis is required. Again, research hypothesis should be relating to objectives. Objectives that we want to analyze by collecting the data. The objectives based on the data analysis or collection of the data analysis, hypothesis should be there. In other words, hypothesis is conversion of objectives into hypothesis. Hypothesis is conversion of objective into hypothesis. That is hypothesis. I will give example. Suppose our objective is, one objective is to examine role of government in higher education development in India. That is one objective we can analyze based on data collection. What can be hypothesis relating to that? No significant role government is playing in higher education development in India. That is hypothesis. Understanding? That is a null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is no significant role government is playing in higher education development in India. Null hypothesis is always negative. Priyanka, am I right?
Yes.
Null hypothesis is always negative. It is always negative, and alternative hypothesis is always positive. Alternative hypothesis is always positive. Again, hypothesis is conversion of objectives into hypothesis. Conversion of objectives into hypothesis. There will be null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. Hypothesis should be specific and particular, and there should be always two hypotheses. One is H0, that is null hypothesis, and H1 or HA, that is alternative hypothesis. H0 is always negative, and H1 or HA is always positive. And that should be linked to the objectives. It should be quantifiable. It should be quantifiable. This should be quantifiable. Where it is quantifiable, then only it is testable. If it is quantifiable, then it can be tested. And when we formulate a hypothesis, it must be tested. It must be tested, and there are different methods of testing hypothesis. That is, t-test is there, z-test is there, chi-square test is there, a number of methods are there. So it should be tested by using those methods. While testing hypothesis, we have to decide whether hypothesis is accepted or rejected. And there is a thumb rule. Thumb rule is, when the calculated t-value is greater than the table t-value, reject LG, that null hypothesis, and accept alternative hypothesis. Understanding? And the value of, table value of t-statistic we get in the book in research methodology. At the end of research methodology book, there are t-tables, there are j-tables, there are chi-square tables. We have to make a comparison of what the calculated t-value and what the table t-value, and the thumb rule is, if calculated t-value is higher than the table t-value, reject null hypothesis, and accept alternative hypothesis. We have to also incorporate interpretation of the hypothesis result. What is meant by rejected and what is meant by accepted. This is what the hypothesis is. Understanding? Yes, yes.
You said hypothesis, null hypothesis is always
Negative. Yes.
and alternate hypothesis.
Always positive.
Positive.
Because it is conversion of null hypothesis into negativity. No?
With respect to what you are saying, is it positive or negative?
Positive means that is
We say null hypothesis is
negative means
no difference.
no difference and significant difference. Positive and negative. Understanding? Or shall I give example?
Yes.
Already I have given no. Suppose my null hypothesis is no significant role government is playing in higher education development in India. This is null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is government is playing a very significant role in higher education development in India. Understanding?
I was thinking alternate hypothesis can be positive or negative. Null hypothesis will always be no difference.
If it is negative, no difference, that is positive. No difference means positive.
With respect to the test statistic.
Null hypothesis should have a negative meaning. And alternative hypothesis should have positive meaning. And already I have given an example. No? Suppose no significant role government is playing in higher education development in India. That is null. Null means negative.
Negative meaning.
And alternative means government is playing a very significant role in higher education development in India. Understanding?
Negative meaning.
Yes. This is what about the research hypothesis. Then chapter scheme again. There should be a moderate number of chapters. Those chapters should be moderate. No less and no excessive. No less and no excessive. While preparing a chapter scheme, consider your objectives of the study. Problem of statement or problem of statement of the problem. Consider that. And chapter should be very clear and neat. One, introduction research. Number one chapter should be always introduction research methodology. Chapter number 1 should be always introduction and research methodology. Chapter number 2 is always review of research studies. You can add in introduction theoretical backdrop of the topic. Or you can prepare a separate chapter as well. But number of chapters should not be excessive or it should not be more. It should not be excessive. It should not be more. So if number of chapters is increasing, it is becoming excessive, you can incorporate theoretical background of the topic in introduction part. Then review of research studies, chapter number 2. Chapter number 3, if it is necessary, a profile of study area. If your study area is unknown, it is unpopular, it is not known, it is not familiar, then only incorporate a profile of study area. If the study area is Dharwad, if the study area is Kolhapur, if the study area is Bombay, if the study area is Delhi, there is no need for incorporating as a chapter of profile of study area. Understanding? But you are working in relating to a very, very remote area, which is unknown, which is not familiar. So you can incorporate as a chapter a profile of study area. Then chapter number 4 should be objective number 1, which is database analysis. Whatever chapter objective 1 is there, which is based on the data analysis, that should be chapter number 4. Likewise, chapter number 5, database analysis objective 2. Chapter number 6, database analysis objective 3. Likewise, and chapter number last should be major conclusions and policy suggestions. You can club chapter 4 and 5. You can club chapter 5 and 6 and 7, and you can reduce the number of chapters as well. Understanding? But whatever objectives you want to analyze based on the data collection and analysis, that should be a chapter. Taking into account scope of the data analysis relating to that objective, either you can keep that chapter as a separate, or you can club the chapter. And last should be major conclusions and policy suggestions, and you should have a bibliography while preparing a research proposal, you've gone through the theoretical literature, you've gone through the data collected, reports and any research articles and papers like that. So it is a bibliography. It is a bibliography. So already we have discussed what is the difference between references and bibliography. Whatever is cited is references, and whatever is used while preparing the research proposal, that is a bibliography. That is a bibliography. And last, you can mention that I am making use of questionnaire or schedule so far as collecting of the primary data is concerned. This is what it is necessary to be incorporated. Next part is importance of your research topic in that proposal. In this importance, how it is contributing to theory, what's its contribution to research on the topic of research, how that research gap is being met by your research study, what is the policy relevance of your research study, what contribution to research topic on research, and how it is useful to the researchers, and how your research will be useful to the teachers and students as well. In these perspectives, in these approaches, you have to write importance of research topic in a research proposal, in a synopsis. And last is limitations or further area of research. In any research, always there are limitations. So don't hesitate in talking about these are limitations of my study. In every research, limitations remain. In one research, it is not possible to cover everything that is there relating to research topic. So limitations can be relating to period of study. Limitations can be related to missing aspects or dimensions, can be related to data primary, secondary, can be related to data sources and inadequacy of the data, relating to scope of the study, relating to area which is covered or which is not covered, relating to data analysis techniques as well. I have used only measures of central tendency. So what can be limitation? I can use measures of dispersion. I can use measures of association like that we have to mention. And whatever is missed out, that is the further area of research. Whatever is missing, which is not incorporated because of n number of reasons, that is known as a further area of research. And the further area of research, that is missing issues and aspects, which can be topics for MPhil dissertation, PhD thesis and research project, research articles and papers as well. Lastly, how to write references and bibliography as well. 3 methods are there. One is APA, American Psychological Association format or framework. Another is MLA, Modern Language Association style, and last is Chicago. That is applicable to different faculties. APA is applicable to psychology and sciences. MLA is applicable to the faculty of humanities, and Chicago is applicable to fine arts and all others. This is what the style or methods of referencing and bibliography that is there. Lastly, thank you one and all for your attention and patience in terms of. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Can we go to the importance or contribution of study? Can we go to that slide?
It is a presenter of 80 slides, so it becomes difficult to change. This is what to write importance of, we call it as a relevance or significance of the research topic or research study. So, all of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Anybody has any question, comment, whatever I told is absolutely incorrect, you can register that view opinion as well, because I have to also correct, I have to also revise. So, any question, any comment, any query relating to what I presented, selecting the topic to the preparing of the research proposal, it is most welcome. It is over to you. It is over to you. So, with your kind permission, shall I stop here?